I'm Kendall Voss, a 30-year-old marketing pro who's spent the last 8 years grinding in Austin's creative scene at family dinner. My sister laughed. It's on fire. I bolted outside and watched my agency go up in flames, all because I wouldn't hand over 70% of the shares. The orange glow lit up the night sky as sirens wailed closer, and the crowd from our backyard barbecue spilled out, murmuring in shock. Plates of ribs and coleslaw forgotten. They stared at the inferno swallowing my office space on South Congress, the heart of everything I'd poured my soul into. I stayed calm and said, "Let's go." No screams, no panic, just a steady voice cutting through the chaos as I guided Mom and Dad back inside, away from the heat licking the air. 15 minutes later, she was on the phone, begging, voice cracking, promises flying. "Please, Kendall, it was a mistake. We can fix this. Family sticks together." I replied coldly, "Let me burn your life." That laugh echoed in my head, the same one she'd thrown at me for years. The golden child who got everything handed while I scraped for every win. But this was the line she crossed. All for a slice of my empire, and as the firefighters battled the blaze, I knew the real firestorm was just starting. If you've ever had family turn your dream to ashes over greed, hit like, subscribe for the full story, and comment below, would you forgive or fight back? That betrayal didn't start with flames. It traced back to the uneven ground we'd walked since childhood. Growing up in our Austin suburb, the lines were drawn clear as a summer storm. My sister Marissa, 4 years my junior, was the undisputed star, the one who could flash a smile and erase any slip-up. She made the cheer squad in middle school, and our parents turned her tryout into a block party, complete with banners and a playlist of her favorite pop tracks. "Look at our little firecracker," Dad would beam, hoisting her onto his shoulders while neighbors clapped along. Me, I was the shadow, always measured against her glow. That year, I'd poured weeks into prepping for the state mock SXSW pitch competition, a high school sim of the real festival, where kids like me presented branding ideas for indie bands. I nailed second place, coming home with a certificate that felt like solid gold in my hands. But when I burst through the door, eager to share, Mom glanced up from helping Marissa practice cheers. "That's nice, honey, but your dad's taking Marissa to her next practice. Can't miss that spotlight." The paper ended up tucked in my backpack, forgotten like yesterday's playlist. No party, no hugs, just a quiet nod that said I was the reliable one, the one who didn't need the fuss. It stung, but I learned quick to swallow it down. Mom's words became the soundtrack. "Be a better sister. Kendall, show her how it's done." Every time Marissa flunked a test or bailed on a group project, it was the teacher's fault or bad luck. But if I stayed out late studying at the library, "You're the older one," set the example. Dad echoed it during family dinners, his fork pausing mid-bite. "Golden rule. Kid, lift her up. Don't drag her down." I recited those lines in my sleep, not because they warmed me, but because expecting less kept the hurt at bay. Survival in a house where love came portioned out. Only one person saw through the script, my grandfather, Clarence. He wasn't the hugging type, more like a steady oak in the backyard, branches weathered but unyielding. A Korean War vet who'd hustled as a record label scout back in the day. He showed care in the practical ways that stuck. I'd drop by his place after school, and there'd be a black coffee waiting on the porch table, no sugar, just steam rising like a challenge. "A girl like you doesn't need fluff?" He'd grunt, sliding it over. "You need edge, stay sharp in this town, or Austin's music scene will tune you out." When my laptop crashed during my first internship gig budget branding for a local folk act, and I couldn't swing the repair, A deposit hit my account the next morning. I called to thank him. Voice shaky. "It's from my nest egg," he replied. Casual as checking the weather. "Not a fortune, but enough so you're not grinding alone. Now get back to work." No fanfare, no repeats. He moved on like it was just another track on the album, but I never did. Clarence taught me the real hits, how to scout hidden venues on South Congress for inspiration, tweak a logo mock-up until it popped like a bass drop, or pitch an idea without flinching. "Build your brand, not their approval," he'd say, scribbling notes on a napkin during our garage sessions, his old turntable spinning Motown classics. "Don't wait for applause, make the room need you." He showed up to my high school graduation, college send-off from UT Austin, and even my certification bash for digital marketing. Each time, a crisp envelope weighted $100 bill folded inside a note that read, "Proud of the beat you're setting." Simple words, but they hit like a chorus I could replay on loop when Clarence passed. The world dimmed a notch. We gathered in the lawyer's office downtown, the air thick with Austin humidity seeping through the AC vents. Mr. Harlan, the family attorney with his wire-rimmed glasses and stack of folders, cleared his throat and laid it out plain. Clarence had divvied it even $200,000 apiece for Marissa and me, $100,000 for Mom and Dad. The house they all shared, the one with the creaky porch swing and backyard oak, split 50-50 between Marissa and me. Mr. Harlan didn't mince. Your grandfather saw the favoritism plain as day. He couldn't trust it not to shortchange Kendall, left it structured so fairness stuck, no matter what. Mom's jaw dropped, her earrings catching the light like shattered glass. Dad's face flushed the color of brisket sauce, veins standing out on his neck. Marissa stared at her nails, avoiding eyes all around. Turns out, Clarence had quietly sold his bungalow for $600,000 before the end, funneling it straight here to level the field. No loose ends, no chances for the scale to tip again. The transfer hit my account that afternoon, a quiet ping amid the grief. Finance work had drilled it in idle cash fades fast in a town like Austin, where rents climb and opportunities riff off each other, so I didn't sit on it. Months blurred into late nights, poring over market reports for South Congress, the artery of live music. Foot traffic humming with festival crowds and indie scouts. There was a gap for sharp, women-led branding that captured the soul of up-and-coming acts without the corporate gloss. Rent was steep, but traffic golden. Close enough to downtown for quick client lunches. I sank about $180,000 to launch Lease on a cozy corner spot with exposed brick and vinyl records lining the walls. Basic setup for mock-ups and client huddles. Teamed up with Riley Novak, a talented designer I'd linked with at a UT alumni mixer. She'd cut her teeth on New Orleans jazz posters before chasing Austin's beat, craving space to flex on female-fronted bands. The agency became her canvas, and my launch pad. I kept my day job, hiring a trusted ops lead for the front while I juggled calls. We soft-opened with a pop-up pitch night, tying into the festival buzz. Invites went out to Mom, Dad, Marissa the works. I figured it'd be the moment they saw me. Really saw. Local blogs raved early, bookings stacked for the next circuit, but as the grill smoke curled that first night, Mom leaned in with her wine glass. "You should have looped in Marissa. She's always dreamed of the spotlight." Just like that, my milestone twisted into her missed cue. Ever been compared to your sister growing up? How did you overcome that family pressure? Those first months after launch tested every nerve, but the payoff hit like a sold-out set at the Continental Club. Word spread fast in Austin's tight-knit music circle. and our SXSW tie-in pitches landed us features on local blogs that racked up thousands of shares overnight. Voss Novak nails the female-fronted sound. One headline blared, with comments flooding in from indie labels scouting fresh talent. We booked solid for the festival circuit, turning mock-ups into full campaigns for up-and-coming bands, think gritty logos for a folk-punk trio, or vibrant posters for a soulful R&B act. Profits rolled in quicker than expected, covering the lease and then some, all while keeping our focus on women-led projects that amplified voices too often sidelined in the scene. I didn't quit the day job yet, clocking finance shifts from dawn till mid-afternoon before racing to the agency for evening huddles. Weekends blurred into supplier calls and tweak sessions. No days off in sight. But the rush made it fuel. Regular clients trickled in, managers needing rebrands for their artists, venues wanting event graphics that popped under stage lights. We even snagged a spot in the Austin Chronicle's roundup of top new creative shops, the kind of nod that had my inbox buzzing with inquiries. It was mine, built brick by branded brick, a space where ideas didn't bow to anyone else's tune. The invite list for our official opening felt like a bridge I'd been waiting to cross. I sent them out to Mom, Dad, Marissa, the whole crew, hoping the buzz would finally shift the spotlight my way. The night kicked off, strong string lights strung across the brick walls, a playlist of our client tracks humming low, tables loaded with tacos from a food truck down the block. Guests mingled local promoters, a couple of band reps, Riley cracking jokes over mocktails, reviews trickled in real time. 5 stars for the vibe and our sharp pitches. Then Mom sidled up during the toast, her glass clinking mine a beat too hard. "This is impressive, Kendall, but you should have brought Marissa in as a partner. She needs a future, something stable." The words landed like a skipped record, turning my win into her what if, just like that. The room's energy dipped for me, even as laughter echoed from the corner. Marissa, meanwhile, treated the place like her stage debut. She cornered Riley mid-pitch to a potential client, waving her phone. "These colors too muted make it pop more, like my feeds." Riley shot me a glance, polite smile holding, but I saw the flicker. Marissa didn't stop there, barking tips at the ops lead on seating for walk-ins or schmoozing guests with lines like, "Yeah, I'm handling the business side, Kendall's the ideas girl." One promoter even pulled her aside for a consult, her laugh carrying over the music like she owned the O chord. I bit my tongue through it all, nodding along with a grin that felt welded on. This wasn't new territory, the same script from family gatherings, where her spotlight eclipsed mine without a cue. But as the night wound down, a notification pinged on my phone the bar tab she'd racked up, slapping it as business expense. $700 on craft beers and shots for her crew. The kind of night that screamed excess. It was the first crack in the facade. Word got back through mutual friends, Marissa burning through her inheritance like confetti at a parade. 200,000 gone in under a year, splashed across 6th Street bar crawls where she'd rent out VIP sections, bottles popping under neon signs. Photos hit my feed uninvited, her posing with sparklers in hand. Caption living the dream, da Austin Nights. Racking up 15,000 likes from strangers envying the glow-up. The next week, a rented Lamborghini gleamed in her stories, her behind the wheel with wind-tousled hair and a smirk that said untouchable. Vegas weekends followed, blackjack tables and poolside toasts, each post a flex that twisted the knife deeper. Worse, she started spinning tales to anyone who'd listen. Our family agency's killing it. She'd text old contacts, attaching agency flyers with her name photoshopped in as co-founder. SXSW clients got the pitch invites to consult dinners where she'd slide her card, claiming veto on creative calls. One band manager confessed over coffee he'd nearly signed on after her owner's spiel, only to balk when I clarified the setup. I started screenshotting it all, a quiet digital trail stacking in a folder on my phone. Each image fueled a simmer in my chest, hot and unyielding, the kind that builds when you've clawed for every inch while someone else dances through. It wasn't just the money vanishing, it was the erasure. Her rewriting my grind as shared glory. Nights blurred as I pored over the evidence, heart pounding with a mix of fury and resolve. How long before this envy turned the corner from whispers to something sharper sister boasting on social media? Does it make you mad or motivate you? The pressure cooker finally blew at our annual backyard barbecue, the kind Mom insisted on to keep the family tight. Smoke from the grill hung heavy in the air, mingling with the sizzle of ribs and the low hum of a country playlist. Relatives dotted the yard, cousins flipping burgers, aunts passing sides when Marissa cleared her throat mid-meal, her hand resting on her barely showing bump. "Big news, everyone," she announced, beaming around the picnic table. "Kendra and I are expecting. Wedding's in the fall." Cheers erupted, forks clattering as hugs circled her chair. Dad clapped Marissa on the back, eyes misty. "That's my girl starting the next generation, right?" Mom fussed over her plate, piling on extra cornbread. "Oh, honey, this changes everything. You'll need stability now, a real foundation." The vibe shifted quick, eyes sliding my way like spotlights on a stage I hadn't auditioned for before the claps died. Mom turned to me, voice laced with that familiar edge. "Kendall, think of your niece on the way. Marissa's got no steady gig, and with the baby, you could make her a full partner in the agency. 70% shares its family, after all. For my grandbaby's future." Gregory nodded sharp, his knife scraping the plate. "She's right. Blood looks out for blood." The words slammed home, turning the smoky haze into a chokehold. 70%, after I'd sunk every dime and dawn into it. While Marissa chased highs on borrowed time, my fork stilled, knuckles white. This isn't a handout. Mom, Diane, it's my blood, my empire. I built it solo, no safety net, handing over the keys because she's starting a family. That's not how this works. The table fell silent, save for the grill's pop and a distant car horn. Gregory's face hardened, and in a flash, he slammed his fist on the picnic table, the wooden bowl of potato salad jumping, shattering against the edge with a crack that echoed like thunder. Salad flew, splattering napkins and shirts, the earthy scent mixing with the grill's char. "Watch your tone. Young lady, we're your parents, show some respect." Diane's eyes widened, but she jumped in, voice trembling with that guilt hook. "Think of your niece, Kendall. Do you want her aunt turning her back when times get tough? Family shares the load." I pushed back from the table, chair scraping gravel. "The load, I've carried it alone my whole life. Marissa's choices aren't my bill." Trisha, my cousin from Mom's side, sat frozen 2 seats down, her fork midway to her mouth, as I stood. She rose quietly, slipping behind me like a shadow, her hand brushing my arm in silent backup. The yard blurred relatives staring, smoke curling lazy from the grill, but I walked out steady, gravel crunching under my boots, leaving the wreckage of that bowl and their expectations behind. Calls flooded my phone that night, a barrage I silenced with one swipe, blocked numbers stacking like unanswered invites. Texts pinged through gaps, Mom's, "We just want unity." Dad's curt, "You're breaking us." Marissa's emoji hearts laced with please. I let them pile, the quiet a shield as I focused on the agency grind. But Marissa didn't fade. Days later, she stormed in during a SXSW prep session, Derek trailing like a bad remix her boyfriend with his ink-sleeved arms and perpetual scowl, fresh off a stretch for minor fraud. The office hummed with mock-ups scattered, Riley pinning proofs to the wall. Marissa bypassed the front desk, zeroing on the conference table we'd reserved for a VIP client walkthrough. "This spot's mine," she barked at the ops lead, shoving chairs aside. "Marissa Voss, co-owner, clear it." Riley stepped forward, calm but firm. "We're booked. Marissa, clients incoming." Derek loomed, crossing his arms. "Make it happen, or we'll make it." Tension spiked, the room's energy flipping from creative buzz to standoff. Marissa leaned in, voice low. "Kendall owes me this, 70%. Remember, for the baby." I rounded the corner then, heart kicking up. "Out, now!" She laughed, sharp and mocking. "Or what, you'll block me like the calls." Derek lunged first. Grabbing a chair arm, I sidestepped, instinct kicking in from years of holding ground. We grappled short and fierce, his grip on my wrist tight as I twisted free, pinning his arm to the table edge, heart racing like a bass drop gone wrong. "Touch me again, and it's cops," I hissed, breath steady despite the adrenaline surge. He yanked back, red-faced, but Marissa pulled him off, eyes narrowing. "You'll pay for this, Kendall, denying family big mistake." They stormed out, door slamming echoes down the hall. Staff exchanged glances, the ops lead wiping sweat from her brow. "That was too close," Riley muttered. "Locking the door behind them?" I nodded, rubbing my wrist, the bruise already blooming faint. But the real gut punch came that evening. A frantic call from the night shift lead. "She's back insisting on the VIP setup again, causing a scene with clients." I raced over, pulling up blocks away to avoid the frenzy. The parking lot glowed under streetlights when I arrived, but the air carried a wrongness acrid, sharp. Then the laugh cut through Marissa's, high and unhinged from the shadows. "It's on fire." I sprinted toward the front, flames already licking the window frames, heat blasting like an amp overload. Sirens wailed distant, but in that moment, the world narrowed to the roar and her silhouette fading into the night. The destruction unfolded in layers, starting with the investigators swarming the site at dawn. Fire crews had contained the worst by midnight, but the back door pried open with a crowbar told the tale of deliberate entry. Accelerant traces streaked the floors, a cheap gasoline mix splashed across design stations and server racks, igniting fast and furious. Our lone security cam in the storage nook caught grainy shadows, two figures moving deliberate, one pouring slow, the other striking the match, faces blurred under hoods. But the build matched Derek's stocky frame and Marissa's deliberate stride. No clear ID, but enough to flag arson, not accident. I filed the report at the station before the coffee cooled, voice steady as I laid out the threats from days prior. "It's her," I told the desk sergeant, handing over the timestamps. "My sister and her boyfriend, they stormed in, made it personal." He nodded, logging it with a nod to the detective on rotation. By noon, Detective Fiona Kerr took the lead, her notebook flipping open in the precinct lobby, sharp-eyed and no nonsense. She jotted details on the family angle, the 70% demand hanging like a motive in neon. "We'll pull footage from nearby, cross-check alibis. Arson like this, it's felony territory conspiracy if they tag-teamed." Back home, the quiet amplified the rage bubbling low. I dialed Marissa on the burner line I'd kept unblocked for this. She picked up on the second ring, tone light as festival chatter. "Hey, big sis, what's the rush?" I cut straight. The agency's gone torched last night. You know anything about that? A pause stretched. Then her smirk bled through the line, audible in the casual drawl. Old wiring! Huh! Those South Congress spots are fire traps happens all the time in this heat. Another beat. Insurance'll cover it. Right, no biggie. The nonchalance twisted the knife. Cut the act. The back door. The gas, it's on tape. Blurry but you. Derek too. She chuckled, low and edged. Prove it. I was home. Crashing with him. Witnesses if you push. I hung up before the boil overflowed, her laugh lingering like residue, untouchable. She thought the inheritance buffer and family shield making her bold. But that call locked it, motive clear, voice matching the calm before the strike. Fiona's team moved methodical, canvassing the block for angles. South Congress gas station cams yielded gold grainy, but time-stamped footage of Derek and Marissa at the pump 2 hours prior, filling red cans under the fluorescent hum. Credit card swipes tied at his name on the receipt. Her arm looped casual through his. The clip leaked online by evening. Some local blogger snagging it from a tip line and blasting it across feeds. Arson suspects caught on tape. Views climbed into thousands. Comments raging from family feud gone wrong to lock 'em up. Viral fuel for the fire I'd just lost. Texts surfaced next, pulled from Derek's phone warrant, blunt and damning. No 70%. Burn it down. Marissa had typed days after the barbecue, followed by Derek's thumbs up emoji. Meet at back alley, 11 p.m. Cans ready? The chain wove back to her gripes. She thinks she's queen time to dethrone. Forensic swabs confirm the accelerant match. Residue on a rag in Derek's truck bed. Case building solid. But Fiona warned over coffee the next week. Arson's tricky need intent beyond doubt. Phone towers place them near, but alibis might muddy. Then the home front cracked wider. Diane showed at my bungalow unannounced that Sunday. Gregory trailing with a pie from the corner bakery like a peace flag. They pushed past the threshold, faces drawn tight. We need to talk about Marissa, Diane urged, settling on the couch without invite. The police grilled us her whereabouts. The fight at your place? This is spiraling. Gregory crossed his arms, jaw set. Drop it. Kendall, tell them you don't want to pursue. Family first, she's your blood, pregnant and scared. I stood firm by the window, arms folded. Blood. She torched my livelihood, Dad Gregory, destroyed equipment for 20 staff. Gigs lined up for months. That's not a spat. It's a crime. Diane's eyes welled, hand clutching the pie box. But she's family. Think of the baby, your niece. One word from you, and it stops. We can handle this private. Gregory leaned forward. Voice gravel. You're the strong one, act like it. Bail her out, or you're the villain here. Their pleas hung, a echo of old scripts. But I shook my head. Private with footage and text, no. She chose this path. Diane rose, voice cracking. You're cold, Kendall. Clarence would hate seeing you tear us apart. The name stung, but I held ground. He taught me to stand tall, not bend for entitlement. As they left, pie abandoned on the counter. A text lit my screen from Trisha. Saw the news. I can't stay quiet. She'd been mulling since the barbecue, her quiet exit after my walkout gnawing. Regret hit her hard, replaying Marissa's barbs in private chats Trisha had saved. She's unhinged, Trisha typed, forwarding screenshots Marissa venting post-dinner. Kendall's hoarding it all time she learned loss. Trisha's flip-sealed gaps witnessed to the threats, placing Marissa near the scene via group thread. I should have spoken up sooner, she added, but your stand lit the way. Emboldened. I anonymized the texts and posted a veiled thread on LinkedIn framed as Lessons from a Close Call, Protecting Your Brand from Insider Threats. No names, just the raw exchanges blurred for privacy, tagged with "You key are women in business." The network lit up comments from fellow marketers sharing sabotage stories, offers of collabs, a surge of DMs from women vowing support. "This is every sister's nightmare." One exec wrote, "Rise above, you've got our backs now." The thread hit 500 reactions by morning, a quiet army forming in the digital glow. The gears of justice ground slow but relentless, starting with Derek folding under the weight of the evidence. His attorney cut a deal mid-process, 3 years behind bars in exchange for spilling on Marissa's role, the planning, the cans, the match. "He'll testify." Fiona briefed me over a terse call, her voice clipped. "Plea locks conspiracy, weakens her defense. Your sister's looking at real time now." Relief mixed with a bitter edge. Derek's flip bought speed, but it cracked open the family rift wider. Trial convened 3 months later in the county courthouse, a squat brick building downtown where the AC hummed against Texas humidity, the room packed tight, reporters sketching from the back row. Our ops lead and a few staff flanking me on the bench. Marissa sat at the defense table, hair pulled severe, orange jumpsuit clashing with her usual flair. Derek took the stand first, voice steady under cross. "She said it outright. If she won't share, make her lose it all." I handled the cans. She lit the spark. Gasps rippled through the gallery, jurors leaning forward as exhibits flashed the blurred cam stills, receipt timestamps, chat logs time-stamped to the night. My turn came on day 2, sworn in with a hand on the Bible that felt heavier than the folder in my lap. The prosecutor nodded, and I faced the room, eyes locking on Marissa's. "She laughed as my dream burned," I stated, voice even but laced with steel. "Not just the building the jobs for 20 women, the campaigns we'd built for female artists breaking through. It was personal, rooted in greed over 70% she never earned." The words hung, her gaze narrowing to slits, a flicker of that old smirk dying under the lights. Cross-exam probed family ties. Couldn't this be a heated sibling spat? But I held firm. Spat this was sabotage, premeditated to destroy what I raised alone. Deliberation lasted 4 hours, the jury filing back with faces set. Guilty on all counts: arson, conspiracy, criminal mischief, the judge. A no-frills type with a gavel scarred from years. Sentenced Marissa to 7 years in Texas State Pen. Eligible for parole after 5. Intent clear. Damage extensive restitution ordered at $150,000. Payable from assets. Marissa's head snapped up, mask slipping to raw shock as the bailiff cuffed her. Diane stifled a sob from the row behind, Gregory's fist clenching the bench arm till knuckles blanched, emboldened by the verdict. I fired off a LinkedIn update that afternoon. Justice served in a family betrayal case standing firm for women building empires. From loss to lesson, protect your hustle. No names. Just the raw arc threats to torch. The plea flip. The gavel fall. The post exploded in my network shares from marketing pros. DMs from entrepreneurs sharing their own sabotage tales. "This boosts us all," a female founder commented, tagging a thread on Chakri called Women in Biz Resilience. Reactions topped 1,000 by nightfall. A digital rally that turned personal pain into collective armor. But the fallout circled home swift. Diane and Gregory appeared at my door 2 days post-sentencing. Uninvited as ever, faces etched with exhaustion. The bungalow's porch light cast long shadows as I let them in, piecing together the silence. "We came to end this," Gregory started, easing onto the couch like it burned. "Marissa's your sister 7 years. That's on you." Diane nodded, eyes red-rimmed. "Selfish woman. Kendall, how could you let it go this far? Clarence raised you better than to destroy us." The accusation landed like embers on dry grass. Destroy. She destroyed first my agency, my team, our future bookings. I paced the living room, voice rising despite the knot in my throat. You enabled her, Dad Gregory, every bailout, every blind eye. Now face it, choices have chains. Diane reached out, fingers trembling. But family, we forgive. Drop the restitution push. Let her start fresh with the baby. Gregory's tone sharpened. You're no daughter of ours if you don't. Blood bends, doesn't break. I froze at the door, hand on the knob. Blood. Yours bent me till I snapped straight. No more fire in my life, not from you. The slam echoed final, lock clicking like a period on years of bending. They stood frozen on the step, Diane's plea fading into the night. But I turned away, the weight lifting like smoke cleared. Legal wheels turned on the house next the co-owned bungalow Clarence left split. Mr. Harlan filed the partition swift, citing Marissa's incarceration as leverage. Court cited quick. The place sold for $500,000. My half released clean. Hers locked in escrow for the restitution hit. Diane and Gregory scrambled. Austin's rents climbing like festival tickets, forcing a downsize to a cramped rental across town. Whispers reached me through mutuals. They pawned the SUV for lawyer scraps. Gregory's temp gigs barely covering utilities. Diane's bridge games now laced with quiet resentment. Kendra reached out weeks later, a photo attachment popping up Nolan, tiny and squirming in a onesie. Her caption soft. Your nephew thought you'd want to see. We're making it work. The image blurred under my thumb. A pang sharp but fleeting. I hit delete. The screen clearing like a fresh canvas. No reply, no bridge, just space to breathe. Rebuilding kicked off with the insurance check clearing. A hefty $230,000 covering structure and gear losses, topped by Marissa's escrow slice from the house sale. The payout landed like a backbeat, steady and insistent, fueling the pivot from ashes to ascent. No time for wallow, I dove into site hunts, zeroing on East Austin's warehouse district, where rents balanced grit with growth. The spot screamed potential high ceilings for collab walls, street art murals peeking through windows, steps from breweries that doubled as client haunts. Permits dragged 2 months, inspectors nitpicking code tweaks amid the festival off-season. But we pushed through with pop-up gigs to keep the pulse alive. Riley stuck close, sketching floor plans over takeout burritos, her vision blending open studios with cozy nooks for mompreneurs, squeezing pitches between daycare runs. This one's for the long game, she said, pinning a mood board of bold palettes inspired by local murals. We hired Avery Sloan as ops lead, a sharp vet from a Nashville firm who'd turned around faltering labels 5% equity vested on performance, a stake that locked her in like family without the strings. Construction wrapped in phases, new wiring fireproof to code, reinforced doors with smart locks, a kitchenette stocked for late-night brainstorms. Total outlay topped the original, but the layout screamed upgrade dedicated zones for video edits and moodboard walls, plus a lounge for client lunches that doubled as networking hubs. We soft-launched with a Fool Our Women Rise pop-up at SXSHW's Edge, transforming a rented lot into a mini-fest branding booths for female acts, panels on hustle without handouts, free mocktails flowing under string lights, hashtag flew viral, posts racking shares from influencers to indie scouts, Voss Novak reborn empowering women one pitch at a time, trended local feeds, drawing collabs that filled our calendar through summer. By month 3, the agency thrummed full throttle. Lunch slots booked solid for career moms. Quickfire sessions on branding your side hustle amid chaos, 30-minute deep dives over salads. Tips on logos that popped on social without screaming for attention. One client, a singer-songwriter juggling gigs and a toddler, landed a label deal off our rebrand. Her thank you email hit like a high note. You gave me wings I didn't know I had. Profits stabilized, then surged, covering expansions like freelance videographers for dynamic reels. Whispers of a second spot bubbled, maybe a satellite in the hill country for retreat-style workshops, where women could unplug and ideate without the city's hum. Fiona dropped by opening night, her detective badge swapped for jeans and a casual blazer, husband in tow for the full spread. Heard the appeal tanked, she said over appetizers, clinking her glass to mine. Marissa's stuck your case set precedents for insider sabotage, I nodded, the weight of it light now. Two unburnable sisters, I toasted, the room echoing back with cheers from the crowd, Riley raising her mocktail high, Avery beaming at the bar. The words sealed it, not just survival, but a symphony we'd composed stronger, no bridges mended in the quiet aftermath. Diane's holiday cards arrived sporadic, laced with veiled pleas about healing the divide, but I let them stack unopened, recycling bin their destination. Gregory's number stayed blocked, his rare voicemails from burners deleted mid-ring. Kendra's updates trickled once more, a snapshot of Nolan's first steps, captioned with hopeful hooks, but the screen swipe cleared it instant. No pull to engage. The silence stretched permanent, a clean break that freed bandwidth for the life I'd reclaimed. Sisters 2545, set boundaries early. Career is the strongest revenge. Don't let family burn your dreams.